Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm going to talk about feelings, and I thought I'd do a session specifically on those because I know I mention them in and amongst lots of other things that I say. But I really want to focus on this aspect of the understanding that I share because I think it's the most, I think our feelings are the most misunderstood aspect of the human experience. I think actually pretty much all of the human suffering that is going on in the world right now is coming from this misunderstanding. It's the thing that I really would love you to see. Maybe not today, but if you keep listening to my sessions or you choose to spend time in a conversation with somebody around this, then I hope you see this because this has been for me the most transformational aspect of what I've learned in the last couple of years. So let's just think about how society sees feelings right now. I don't know when we start to learn this. I suspect it's probably when we're quite small. There's a categorization, isn't there, that some feelings are good and some are not good. And in fact, the not good feelings seem to me to have been demonized, really. That there are some feelings that it's just not okay to experience. And we're taught that right from being very young, but then I think as we get older, as we start to understand things around mental illness, that some feelings get even more demonized and look like they're really not okay. But all day, every day, it's probably worth knowing that we are making decisions based on our desire as human beings to feel good. And maybe it even, like when I think about it, maybe even goes back way further than that to the idea that there are some physical things that are good for us and they feel good. Like having a full stomach and feeling like, satiated. I hope I've got that word right. By food, it feels good. And of course, that is good for us to have food in our stomach and to be full and, be able to have enough energy and be able to survive because we've got enough food. We're thinking back to our ancestors who were hunter-gathering. And then, things like reproducing feels good because that's pretty important for us as a species, isn't it? To enjoy reproducing. So reproducing feels good too. And there are all sorts of things like that. Like it feels good to not have your hand in a fire because putting your hand in a fire is dangerous. So there is a system inside us guiding us in terms of the physical aspects of things. But somehow our emotional feelings have got lumped in with that. So this is what happens. This is what I see happening all the time. And I see it in myself, by the way. I'm not just telling it. I see it in everybody else. And I never do it. That's not at all the case. I totally and utterly experience this in myself. Is when we don't feel okay, we want to do something to achieve a better feeling state. Now, for me in the past, that's involved all sorts of things. So trying to get other people to behave a certain way. I had a terrible relationship with food. I was a real emotional eater where if I was upset, I ate. If I was happy, I ate. If I was upset, I ate. I just kind of ate, to kind of enhance a feeling or not feel a feeling. And I would resort to those particular foods that seem to be quite comforting, like chocolate and things like that. Of course, there are many of us who have used alcohol in that way, and, hands up, at points in my life, I have used alcohol to feel better, or to numb a feeling, get rid of a feeling. So we can all, some of us might be able to look into the world and go, well, I don't do any of those things. Actually, I'm really healthy and I don't use food to make me sad. I don't smoke and I don't do any of those things. But I think everybody's doing something. Well, we all are, because it's the human condition, really, to do that. But there are some things that we're doing to control our feelings which are held up as being good for us. Now, and I'm going to include some things that you might not like. I'm sorry, but this is all about understanding that there is a paradigm shift required to understand how we really work. Now, I know some people who run hard and fast in order to not feel anxious. So they're managing their feelings through running their physical body hard. We're using all sorts of things: meditation, tapping, breathing techniques, whatever it is. If you feel an uncomfortable feeling and you find yourself doing anything to create a better feeling or to get rid of a bad feeling, in inverted commas, then you are misunderstanding where your feelings are coming from. So where are your feelings coming from? And why is it not a good idea to try and manage them or squash them down? Your feelings are formed as the shadow of a combination of your thinking and how much awareness or how much consciousness energy there is going into that thought. We can all have an unpleasant thought that just kind of passes across our heads, can't we? But sometimes we get quite caught up in our thinking. Now, when I say feelings are coming from thought, you might not be aware of the thinking, but you'd probably be aware of the genre of thinking that you're caught up in. So when you feel an angry feeling, that's telling you you've got angry thinking. And that is your warning signal. And you will have seen this in action. And it's a lovely place to get curious, because how many times do we say something or do something or send an email or a message from that angry place, and then later on, when we're calm and settled, which occurs naturally, we suddenly go, probably shouldn't have sent that, probably shouldn't have said that, said something horrible to somebody I love, I've shouted at somebody I care about, because I didn't understand what my feelings were saying to me. And I think stopping the feeling management is part of this, because either, if we're managing our feelings through tapping, or we're managing our feelings through meditation, or whatever else we're doing to manage our feelings, drinking chocolate, whatever it is, it's reinforcing the idea that feelings are managed from the outside. And then we will probably still do some of those reactive things because we're misunderstanding where our feelings are coming from. It's the misunderstanding that's the issue. It's not any of the doing. The doing is nothing to do with it, really, because we're all going to choose something different between us and on different days, depending on the level of awareness we have of where our feelings are coming from. I've talked about this before, but there's almost a junction, really, where we have an awareness of a feeling. We perhaps that one usually one we don't like, so we don't do anything about when we're feeling happy, do we? Apart from maybe do more of the same thing we think's making us happy. But happy feelings mean happy thinking too. There's an awareness junction. There's a junction of when we experience a feeling. We don't like that feeling. If we think the feeling is coming from the outside world or can be solved in the outside world, then we will do something in that physical world, in the world of form, to sort it out. When we realise that that's our fabulous warning system letting us know that our thinking's a bit dodgy right now, that we've got off thinking, that that's our state of mind, it makes sense to do a lot less in the physical world. It makes sense to look inside, to give yourself a moment, to take a breath, to create a pause, to allow that thinking to pass and that feeling to go with it. How I am seeing the world of feeling control right now is like there's a big lighthouse with a big light on it that is there to protect us, to let us know about the rocks below. And we are shooting a great big bullet through that lighthouse and then wondering why we are crashing again and again and again against the rocks. We're crashing against the rocks because we've switched off the warning system. And the invitation here is to get curious about this. What are you missing in a curiosity about yourself and those patterns that keep coming up again and again and again? If we're not getting curious about this, we're missing the opportunity to start seeing through the layers of rubbish that we've learned. There's an opportunity in our feelings. And that's why they're there, to let us know about our state of mind. They're just misunderstood. Have fun getting curious about this and let me know what you see and what you experience from that curiosity. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.